iPhone 15 Pro Max versus Galaxy S24 Pro Max. No, I mean Galaxy S24 Plus. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, 1. And the reason I called it that was because this is basically Samsung's version of this style of phone, sans having the S24 Ultra's cameras. But it has the same basic overall shape and size, and it's a little bit lighter actually. The iPhone 15 Pro Max does turn on first, followed slightly behind the Galaxy S24 Plus. If you were looking for something a little bit more in line with like an iPhone feel, you don't like that boxier shape of the S24 Ultra, that is your phone right there. For sure. It's basically identical in terms of the overall kind of feel. So when it comes to unlocking these devices, you do have Face ID, just a raise to wake, and then you just go right there. Now the Samsung also has a lift to wake, but you don't even have to do that. You can just tap it with the screen off and be right in. So really easy there for the Samsung device. And it's really nice because once you know where it's at, you can just unlock it very quickly. So I think because you don't actually have to swipe, the Samsung can actually be a little bit faster to unlock. Now we have 17.3.1 on here. One of the main things about the iOS's general OS is that it's just always consistently smooth, especially on these latest iPhones here. Every time you pick it up, you just expect flawless performance, and what you receive is basically flawless performance. The scrolling especially is always super smooth. Now on the Samsung, when you first boot it up, it can be a little bit stutter, just for like a half a second while the notifications are loading up and stuff. But after that, you know, it's basically buttery smooth all the time as well. Animations have gotten improved, but there's sometimes a slight delay when you went over there, you've seen to the Google screen. And also, sometimes when scrolling in certain third-party apps, which I don't think is really Samsung's fault, it definitely doesn't scroll as smooth as on some of the iOS-based platform. But overall, it just kind of pretty much equal these days with these 120 hertz displays going head to head. Okay, so you can see everything is closed out for both phones here. Let's go into weather, and you can see, was that the iPhone? I'm not exactly sure. Let's go into Play Store, App Store. That might have been the iPhone. The Samsung looked like it had it, but I think the actual app's loaded. Now, one thing you'll see here is that the scrolling, I don't know, man. When I'm looking at these side by side, the Samsung looks choppier on the scrolling up and down. And it's not just the Samsung, it's most Android phones. I see that. Now you'll see right here that this was faster. If I go to categories, things to do, that statement about the iPhone being smooth, but the Samsung feeling faster, I've seen that in a comment before. See, like, what is that? Like, look, if I hold that right there, no issue. Watch this. Like, what is that? Like, stuff like that, I don't see that on the left. Swipe out of there. Animations, though, let's go into Twitter X. They've got animations down. They fixed that. We'll go over here to Profile. And you'll see pretty good scrolling on both here. The iPhone still has a better scroll, though. I'm not trying to be Mr. Apple fanboy over here. I'm just saying, like, I'm calling it like I'm observing it. Let's go over here, and pretty much equal here. The Samsung still has a snappier feel though. See, quicker to open things. And I like the back gestures on Android on both sides versus Apple only on one side, so that's pretty nice. Let's go over here into eBay. Faster on the Samsung, so we are doing speed tests, and so far the Samsung feels like the faster phone. Let's go into Amazon. Faster on the Samsung once again. Let's go into Starbucks. Faster on the Samsung once again. I don't think most people will notice this, especially because you're not comparing side by side. But the iPhone has a really smooth experience. Faster here on Jetpack Joyride than Samsung. But I'm not singling out Samsung. The Google experience, Google phone, as well as some other phones in third-party apps tend to have a little bit of a choppier scroll than most iOS apps. So it might be kind of Android related versus pure Samsung related. So I don't want to like single them out here. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2. See how this loads. Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Faster on the right. We'll hit play. You'll see faster on the right here, and then comes the iPhone. So there are certain games that can actually launch faster on the Samsung. We'll go into Temple Run 2, Adreno 750. And the Samsung actually like lower. It's like a shorter, like less thick phone as well. So if you like more portability, but at the same size screen, basically, you'll really like the Samsung device. It feels like a smaller phone, but at the same screen size. So even more comfortable than iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let's go over here to Free Fire. And you'll see Free Fire tending to looking like it's gonna load faster on the Samsung. We're getting there, we're getting there. Yep, faster on the Samsung. That's pretty impressive. The Samsung usually not faster in that area. Let's go into Hill Climb 2. And you'll see faster on the Samsung by a hair. Let's go over here to 3D Mark. Basically the same. We'll go into Geekbench 6. Faster on the Samsung. And we'll go into Speed Test. Faster on the iPhone there. We'll go into Amazon Music. Oh, looks like I had to sign in there, but it was faster on the Samsung anyway. Let's go into InShot. We got to add on this one, but it looks like Samsung had it first. Overall, Samsung feeling like the faster phone here. So Apple smoother once again, kind of like some of my other speed tests, but Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus loading most of the applications first. So having 12 gigs of RAM, that's 4 more than the iPhone, and having the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, it's a powerhouse for less money than the Ultra. Let's take a look at RAM management now. Okay, so here we are with the 15 Pro Max. Let's go ahead and see how we do. One of the best things is that the 15 Pro Max has like no double swipe to come out of the applications. And so it essentially makes it feel even better when coming through these. It's like a perfect experience here. Also, I gotta say, the display looks a little bit better saturated on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It just kind of looks a little bit better, if I'm being honest. But there is a fix coming for that on the Samsung. Taking a look at the Samsung so far, no real issues. Looking nearly identical. You gotta do that double swipe, but looking nearly identical to the iPhone experience when it comes to going through the apps. Slightly less smooth, but not even close to what they used to be like. So very, very close now. And it's probably going to come down to more of the ecosystem you want to be in. And with 7 years of updates, you have plenty of time to use this phone without feeling like it's going to be outdated. Although keep in mind that the Samsung updates don't usually come out very fast. Once the main latest S line becomes older, then it kind of like you have to wait a little while to get the update. When the latest S owners get the update faster, you still get them, but they just take longer, which gets annoying. So our final Geekbench 6 results have arrived. 2914 single core 15 Pro Max, 2197 single core on the S24 Plus. Now for that multi-core score, you can see they're a lot closer there, 6665. And then 7256 for the win on the iPhone. But some people like to call that the Apple bench. So we're going to go ahead and run 3D Mark over here to see if 3D Mark Extreme is going to give us a different result when it comes to the GPU. So let's go ahead and run that, and I'll be back when they are done. And as I expected, the S24 Plus actually has a better overall frame rate score from the 3D Mark Extreme, and overall score 4778 versus 3930. I also feel this phone a little bit less warm versus the iPhone 15 Pro Max. A little toasty up there in the center, somewhere around here, very toasty. At the same time, nothing like when it first came out. You'll see 92% better than other devices, only 74. So maybe the S24 Plus will be the better gaming performance, although there's certain titles that you might only be able to find on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So that's that. Let's go ahead and run a quick speed test, and we'll see how it does with the internet test, and then we'll go ahead and bring in the Samsung. So let's go ahead and see how this one does. Should be pretty decent, close to 500 down, not bad. Get the Samsung ready with the same server, 489 down. So we're gonna have any differences here. Let's see, 16, 18, 19, 20 upload, 21, 22. Come on, you can do it. 23. Yes, we're going to do around 23 on the upload. So can the Samsung beat that? Now, I have bragged in some of my reviews before that Samsung usually has the better download speeds and kind of the experience. And whoa, what is going on here? Same Wi-Fi or same server, almost 700 down, 656. That's way higher here. Now, this is not necessarily going to be the case for everybody, but I actually could tell you in the real world, I tend to feel like I get better signal strength, like with 5G performance, about the same upload with the Samsung. That might not have meant much, but it did definitely win out there. So maybe it has is pulling in better Wi-Fi. So just wanted to put that one in there. Okay, so we're going to do a quick video render. I'm going to do this in 4K. They have a similar video, both 1 minute 15 seconds, and we'll go 4K over here. Now, even though they're both in the, let's see if MP4 makes them about the same. So the iPhone size is a little bit smaller, so that could probably change the overall results, but they're both shot at the 1 minute and 15 second mark. So let's just hit save and see which can do this faster. So the Samsung looking quicker, even though it has more of a size. I mean, they're not huge regardless. Only 1 minute videos, but we're just gonna see. So is the Samsung gonna do I wonder if the Samsung's just converting first. They're gonna save, but it looks like, let's see if it's done once it hits 100. So yeah, that video was done. So yeah, that video is done, ready to go. The iPhone, let me go to my gallery here while that's finishing up and see if that made a difference. Yeah, that video is done. Here it is right here. You can see the in shot right there. This is not a sponsored ad for them. I just picked any video editor I could to. Okay, so this is done now. Yeah, so the Samsung did that faster now. You could say, well, that's because InShot is better developed for Android. There's always some excuse. Yeah, iMovie is available for iPhone, which is a beautiful app, but you can also edit and render within the Samsung gallery itself. So at the end of the day, you've seen that the Samsung even rendered the video faster, and maybe in Cyberlink it'll do quicker than iMovie. We never know, but like at the same time, you know, both of these are super powerful. Last thing I want to do is kind of do a quick camera launch just to see which one can launch those faster. 3, 2, go. You could see, to me, it looked like the Samsung. Let me make sure they're on the photo modes first. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and do it again. 3, 2, go. iPhone may be faster. I'm going to do it again. 3, 2, go. Yeah. I also noticed that when switching between the lenses, the Samsung looks a little bit less smooth, but it still does a great job. Let's go ahead and take a look at the shutter key. 3, 2, go. About the same. So overall, very good. You also can use the action button to launch the camera here if you want to set it up that way, and double click the power button for Samsung. So there's multiple ways to access that feature as well. At the end of the day, I feel like the Samsung is equally, if not in some areas, a little more powerful. Even if the technical chipset is quicker on the iPhone, you still have the edge panels over here, the built-in pop views. This is basically the S24 Ultra, essentially, in just a more comfortable package than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, or closer to the 15 Pro Max in that comfortable feel. So if you love the 15 Pro Max, but you want to use Samsung, get this phone. This is the one for you. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if you want to see any more comparisons that I might have missed out on down below in the comments. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.